Welcome back to another episode of Addicted to Quitting, where we are focusing on quitting the habits that no longer serve us so we can elevate our health, our habits, and our happiness. My name is Gentry. I am your host for this podcast, and I am obsessed with being a quitter. I have so much success based off of my ability to quit things that no longer serve me before I was able to implement the things that actually do serve me. So today we're going to be talking about quitting the over explanation after we make decisions in our life. Like, we don't owe people an explanation. And I am excited to get into this. This is going to be a hard conversation. So if you aren't ready to let go of your people-pleasing ways of constantly needing to over-explain and have justification and being approved by everyone, then maybe this episode isn't for you. But if you are ready to get real, if you are ready to listen up and quit over-explaining the decisions that you're making in your life, then stick around because this episode's for you. I am excited for the episode today. I got my coffee, I got my water, I got my notes. I am just so ready to help you guys stop owing them an explanation. Stop feeling like you owe them an explanation. You do not owe anyone an explanation for what you're doing in your life. And this is on so many different levels. Like, this could be on peer pressure. So if you're trying to quit drinking, you're trying to get healthy, and other people are like, oh, why are you doing that? Why are you quitting drinking? What's wrong with you? Like, do you have a problem, right? Like, we don't owe an explanation of why we're making healthier decisions for ourselves. We don't owe people an explanation of why we're not going to work longer hours, or like professionally, we don't owe people explanation. And parents, hello, parents. My goodness, you guys, we don't owe our kids an explanation. They don't have to approve our decisions. Sometimes we just need to set the boundary with them because that's what we need to do as parents. We don't have to get them to understand it or like it or approve it for us to, like, we don't have to carry around guilt for making decisions for our kids in their lives. This is for relationships, right? Like, sometimes you just got to set a boundary with your relationship and be like, I don't have to over explain myself. I am exhausted from over explaining myself for you to see me, for you to hear me, for you to validate me. Like, I'm going to validate myself. I'm going to hear myself. I'm going to trust myself enough that I don't need everyone else's opinions and approval for me to be able to take the next step in my life. Because the truth is, a lot of times they don't see your vision. And sometimes they don't see your value. And sometimes they don't see what you're trying to do and what you're trying to accomplish. And you have to be confident enough in your decisions to continue to take steps forward anyways. And you are wasting so much precious time and energy over explaining the moves you are making to the people that at the end of the day aren't going to be there once you get to the next level. Or for kids, at the end of the day, are just going to see the benefits of you making the moves. They don't need to understand why you're making them. Like, kids don't need to understand everything that's going on in our heads. Why? Because they can't. They physically cannot understand why we make decisions for them. Sometimes we just need to set the boundary and we do the damn thing. And I see so many people over explaining the decisions that they're making, over justifying why they're doing what they're doing, trying to get other people to approve of it, trying to get other people to validate them. And you don't need anybody else's approval. You don't need anyone else's validation. You need to look at yourself and be like, who do I want to be? How do I want to show up? What are the decisions I want to make for my life? And then be confident in that, because nothing is more powerful than not over explaining. Like, have you ever been in a situation, and I know I'm not alone in this, where you're like, you make a decision for your life and you really want to bring someone along, or you want them to understand why you're doing it, or you want them to see you in this process and you're excited about it, and you're sitting there, you're like looking backwards. I think of it as like looking backwards, like, hey, guess what? I'm going to go do this. I'm going to go run this race. And I want you to come with me. I want you to understand what I'm doing. I want you to watch me. I want you to be a part of this with me. And you're looking backwards and continuously trying to convince them and coerce them and trying to be like, hey, come on, come do this with me. Like sobriety, for example. Like trying to over-explain why sobriety was so important for me to people that weren't going to come on the journey with me, wasted so much time and energy of my life. They had no desire to come on this journey with me. And I was so afraid of losing that person that I wasn't investing in the next level for myself. I was wasting so much time over explaining why sobriety was so great. Like, come on, come with me, come do it. And I wasn't actually doing the damn thing. Like, you don't owe anyone an explanation of what you're doing. And every single time that you are looking to the outside world to give them that explanation versus just walking in that path and allowing yourself to attract the people that are on that same path, you are going off path. You aren't on the journey. I can't talk about sobriety while I'm looking backwards trying to convince other people to come do sobriety with me. I can only walk in sobriety and I can only walk my own path. You don't owe people an explanation for the decisions that you are making in your life. If you are confident in what you're doing, there is so much power in not explaining what you're doing and not explaining why other people should do it. Like, I talk about sobriety and I share my journey, but I don't care if you do it or not. You can be here with me or not. Like, your journey is your journey. And I hope you have a great journey. I hope you're successful. And if that means you drink alcohol, that means you drink alcohol. If that means you stay in your marriage, you stay in your marriage. If that means you stay in your job, you stay in your job. If that means you have whatever your journey looks like. But I want it to be your journey. And I'm going to explain to you or share with you like what I do and what I like, but not because I'm needing you to validate that. Whether you agree or not, I don't care. Whether you want to come with me or not, I don't care anymore. Like, I'm going to do the things I'm going to do because I know that this is the path for me. And I'm going to talk about it as I'm doing it, but I'm going to stay on my path. I'm going to stay on my lane. And we're wasting too much time trying to get approval, trying to get acceptance, trying to get validation, trying to get people to understand us, to see us. They're not going to see it because it's not their path. You can share what you're doing. You can share, but whether they're doing it or not should not affect the next step that you're taking. And too many people are waiting for other people's approval before they're taking the next step. You do not owe anyone an explanation for what you are doing in your life. You do not owe anyone an explanation for any boundaries that you are setting. You don't owe them that. Boundaries are not meant for you to like build these big barrier walls around you and not let anyone in and for you to just block yourself out from the world. It's for you to protect your peace. Shout out to Trent Shelton. Protect your peace. But it really is for you to protect your peace. The boundaries that you set should be an invitation to people that if they want to be on this path with you, if they're in alignment with this path for you, they're welcome to come. But if they're not, they're not. And you don't know that an explanation of why they're not. They're just not. Like, boundaries shouldn't be like a request. Like, will you please be kind to me? It's like, you will be kind to me or I will not associate with you. I will not talk to you and I won't be mean about it. I won't be like aggressive about it. I won't post about it, but like, you're going to treat me the way I deserve to be treated on the path that I'm on right now, or you're not going to be on this path with me. We're not going to be in alignment. And we don't owe anyone an explanation about that. We get to make these decisions because every single time you stop to sit there and explain why they aren't allowed on the path with you and why it's not fair that they're not doing the things that you want them to do, and you've now put in this negotiation to your boundaries. There's no negotiating in boundaries. Like, you either are going to respect me and my wishes and what I'm asking for, or you're not. And that's not like these demands of like, you need to give me this and you need to do that. It's just like, no, I protect myself. I protect my peace. I protect my journey. And I don't owe you an explanation when you no longer fit in alignment with that journey. Because it's sometimes not even like a negative thing. Sometimes it's like, I'm just not there anymore. I have friends that go out, that party, they drink, and I'm just not there anymore. We don't need to have a big conversation. I don't hate them. I don't dislike them. I don't think anything negative about them. I think like it works for them. They're happy. They like to drink still. They are able to manage their alcohol. That is great. That is their journey. That is their path. That is no longer my path. I don't know them an explanation of why I'm not, and they don't know me an explanation of why we're not hanging out anymore. We just are on different journeys now. Our paths are different on different alignments. And we're wasting so much time wanting to be liked, wanting to be approved, wanting to be validated, wanting to have a partner on the journey that we're wasting our precious time of this life. Like, life is so short. Do you really want to waste it explaining to somebody how treat you, explaining to somebody how to be on the journey with you, explaining to somebody that like, okay, I'll wait for you. No, I'm not waiting anymore. I'm not waiting anymore. I am so tired of waiting for people. And I hope you're getting tired of waiting for people. Like, I waited for people to get sober with me. Years I wasted waiting for people to get sober with me. I had friends, I had really close people in my life. I wanted them to get sober with me, and I just sat there waiting. I knew what I wanted, but I really wanted them to come. I knew what I wanted with my relationships. I knew what I wanted with my business. I knew what I wanted with other things, but I kept wanting other people to do it with me. And I'm done waiting. I'm done explaining to them what it's like on this side. I don't care. If you don't see it, don't see it. Live your life. Like, I had to be willing to stop over explaining why I was making decisions in my life. And I want you to stop over explaining why you're making decisions in your life. You don't have to tell anyone in the world about why your relationship failed. You don't have to tell anyone in the world about why your marriage failed. You don't tell anyone in the world about anything that you're doing. Just make the moves. Just live every day in that new life. You don't owe people an explanation. You don't have to be people to choose your side, to choose your words. Just move in the direction you want to go and keep your mouth shut. Don't over-explain it. Don't waste your time and energy. They already wasted your time and energy. There's so many people in this world that have already wasted your time and energy. And the more that you talk about the things that they did to you, the more you are giving them that energy. The more that you are letting them win. You don't owe anyone an explanation about why your marriage failed. You don't owe anyone an explanation about why your relationship why your relationship failed. You don't owe anyone an explanation of why you decided to get sober. You don't owe anyone in a relationship of why you and that person aren't friends anymore. Stop over explaining your life so you can get justified or feel justified and feel validated. You know the truth of what you're doing and why you're doing it, and have confidence in that enough that you can keep your mouth shut and keep walking forward. You don't owe them an explanation. I find this in parenting too, because parents are so full of guilt. Like, so many parents are full of so much freaking guilt out there that they over explain about everything that they're doing to their kids. Like, well, I just want you to understand why I can't do this and why I'm doing that. And almost like an approval from our children. And we need to stop doing that. Like, stop parenting out of guilt. Stop giving them explanations of why you're doing what you're doing. Just do it. Just do it. Do your best. Keep showing up. But stop giving them these huge explanations and like justifying your behavior as like so that you could get validated by your kids. Stop over explaining everything. Just move. Just move towards the type of life that you want to live. Freaking flies are driving me insane. Flies are insane right now, and there's a couple that keep buzzing by my ear, and it's very distracting, and I want to kill them all. Sorry, got distracted. But stop over explaining yourself to the world. Share what you're doing. I don't care. Share the moves that you're making. I don't care. Share that you got a divorce. I don't care. Stop over explaining and justifying and trying to get validation for why you made those decisions. You made those decisions because they were the best decisions for you, and that's all that you need to know. Stop over explaining. You don't owe them an explanation. You don't owe your partner an explanation about why you guys aren't together anymore. You don't need to have that conversation anymore. You chose the things that happened, and now you're in this place that you don't want to be in this relationship anymore, and you are allowed to step away from that relationship. You separated. You're not together. Stop giving them explanations about what happened. They should have known what happened. Like, you're making yourself insane trying to get other people to see what you see. You've already left the relationship. They did not see what you saw. They did not value you the way you needed to be valued. Stop trying to convince them. Stop trying to convince them. They've already proven they can't. Like, actions speak louder than words. So stop using your own words. You know this. Because they probably have said, oh, I'm going to do better. I'm going to change. I'm going to get sober. Whatever they said to you. But you've already made the decision to leave because their actions were not matching their words. So why are you using words when you know words don't carry any weight? Have action. Your actions are what matter. So step into the path that is meant for you and stop explaining why you're taking that path. You don't owe anyone that. I'm going to turn left up here because when I was going to turn right towards you, like all these things are happening and I really want you to turn left with me, but you're not wanting to turn left with me. So I'm just going to sit here at the fork in the road, hoping that you'll change your mind. You are wasting your life. You're wasting your own life. You don't owe them anything. You don't owe them an explanation of what you are doing and why you're doing it. You don't know the peer pressure and explanation of why you're choosing to not drink alcohol or why you're choosing to not go out on weekends or why you're choosing whatever decisions that you're making. Stop over-explaining yourself. People that over-explain themselves are just, you can like feel it. You can feel the lack of confidence in themselves when they're doing it. It's like, I'm over-explaining this because I want you to see it, and I need somebody to see it, and I need somebody to validate it, and I need somebody to understand what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, and stop. Nobody needs to know the details of your relationship. Nobody needs the details of what you're doing and why you're doing it if it's for the purpose of getting validated. Stop talking about it. You know, even in my journey as somebody that talks about recovery, there was a huge time in my recovery where I didn't want to talk about the things that happened, like the drunken nights and the drunk driving and driving with my kids and passing out in my car with the twins in the back seat and like peeing on the floor, wetting the bed, which actually I do that in sobriety too. So I really can't say that that was a sober alcohol thing. That literally happens occasionally when I'm sober. But I remember being like, I don't want to keep talking about my addiction and why I got sober, because I don't want, I felt like I was having to prove that I was an alcoholic at first because nobody saw how bad it was. And so it was like, I don't want to have to keep proving how bad it was for me to actually get sober. And so I had to really like dig deep and understand why I wanted to share. And it's not for other people to validate, it's for other people to help them be seen. So I share about the times that I drank. I share about the things that the things that led to my decision to get sober, not because I want you to validate why it was such a good idea for me to get sober, or for me to say like, see, you're doing that, so you're doing those things, so now you should join me because you're doing those things too. It's just like, no, I'm just sharing my journey. I'm just sharing my journey. It's not for any sort of validation. It's not for me to justify that I did have a drinking problem, because really I did at first feel like I had to prove to my family and prove to people around me that I did sincerely have a drinking problem, because I was so good at hiding it. I mean, some people would be like, you weren't that good at hiding it, Gentry. But I do think that for like the people, like the second, third layer of my friends, I was really good at hiding it. And so I had to prove that I had a problem, and I don't have to prove anything because we were allowed to make decisions because we want to. Like, even if I was like, I decided I don't want to eat vegan. I don't want to eat vegan. I want to eat vegan. I want to be a vegan. I don't have to prove that I had a problem with meat. I don't have to prove anything. Like, we just make these decisions. So stop trying to prove why you're making the decisions that you're making. Stop making these spreadsheets for people and being like, I decided to do this with my life because of this factor and this factor, and I want you to co-sign this. I want everybody in my family to now sign the bottom of this paper or this spreadsheet and give me approval and permission to continue on this journey because you agree. You don't have to do that, guys. Stop doing it. Too many of you are living this way. Like, too many people are living this way where we're over explaining why we made the decisions that we made because we want people to validate the decision that we made. We want people to understand us. We want people on our side about it, right? Like, how many relationships are you out there like, he did this and she did that and this happened? It doesn't matter. Why are you telling your side of the story so much? Why? You don't owe anyone an explanation. So that you can feel like you're right? Cool. Now you're right. I'm telling you right now, you're right. You want to be right, you're right. Does that change you at all? It doesn't change anything. You don't need to be right. You need to be on your path. Life is too short for you to be at the stop sign, sitting there, waiting for 10 people to approve you and tell you, yes, you're right, you're valid, you're justified in your behavior. You know what? It does suck. Being a single mom is super hard. You're right, Gentry. Like, this is really hard. You're validated. You're justified in not getting where you want to be in business. You're justified in being tired. You're justified in, like, thank you. Now that everybody co-signed that bullshit, am I any farther along in my business? No. Do I have any more sleep? No. You don't owe anyone an explanation of your life. Just keep moving. Just keep moving. Please. I used to spend so much time wanting validation for my struggles. Like, oh gosh, this is so hard. This is so hard. Do you agree? Okay, can you sign here? Like, it's like a petition. Like, I'm sitting outside of freaking Cabela's and telling everyone, like, I'm a single mom. It's really hard. Like, it's stressful. Kids are really busy. Got a big house. I don't know. I have all these obstacles, right? Like, I have these obstacles. I live in a small town. I'm never going to find anyone to love me. Do you agree this is hard for me? Okay, can you sign here? I'm trying to get 1,000 people to agree. How insane does that sound? But we do it all the time. We do it. I see it on social media all the time. Like, and I'm not saying I don't go on social media and say, like, I'm having a hard day or, like, things are stressful. It's like, but they're posting things. They're posting their problems because they want somebody to be like, yep, it's hard. Okay, now you got another person to sign your petition. Do we get to submit this petition anywhere? Do we get, like, you get 1,000 people to sign it and you get, like, $1,000? I don't know. Like, maybe if that were some sort of, like, reward, then yeah, explain away. But I don't know. And if I'm missing out on a program somewhere, can somebody please email it to me? Because I would love to list out the things that are hard in my life and see if I can make some money off of it. But no, like, there's no program that says, like, hey, get all these people to validate you, get all these people to understand that it's hard, over explain your life, over explain your struggles, over explain why you got sober, over explain why you're right in this relationship and they're wrong, over explain it. And if you can get X amount of people to co-sign this and to see you, you will get rewarded. There is nothing that I know of out there like that. So stop wasting so much time and energy trying to be seen instead of just moving and living your life. Just move in your life. Just take steps. And something that I've had to learn is to shut up as I'm on a podcast, as I'm talking to you guys right now. But honestly, I had to learn how to just shut up about my problems. Like, I don't want to keep explaining to you guys about why I'm right in this relationship or this friendship or why I got sober or why it's hard. I just want to move. I just want to be taking steps in the right direction. And whoever aligns with that path aligns with that path. But I am so tired of trying to convince people to come with me, of trying to justify why I'm there, as trying to explain to people the rocks that are on my road. I don't care. I just want to start moving the damn rocks and keep going. We don't owe anyone an explanation for the moves that we are making in our lives. Stop talking and start walking. Oh, stop talking, start walking. Start walking your own path. When the obstacles come up, figure them out. You don't have to post up another sign at Cabela's and say, hey, I had a rock in my road. I need 10 people to co-sign this before I'm able to go and move the rock. No, just move the damn rock. Just move it. Stop talking. Just keep walking. You don't owe anyone an explanation. Set those boundaries, stick up for yourself, and keep moving. Advocate for yourself and keep moving. This is something that I am actively working on, but have gotten so much better at because I want to over-explain myself. I want to over-explain it to the people that hurt me. I want to tell them why they hurt me and to explain why they hurt me. I want them to feel why they hurt me. You know how many hours, days, months probably I've sat in my own pain hoping that the more pain I feel, the more the people that were hurting me would see and feel that pain, and they never did. They never really did. Like, I would put myself in more pain thinking like, oh, well, if they see it now that I'm in more pain, they'll see it. They'll see me. No level of pain that I put myself in is worth trying to be seen like that. And even if they did see that, okay, she's hurting, it didn't change anything. Like, it doesn't change anything. Like I said, there's no petition that says they get X amount of people to see you and you get a reward. It doesn't matter. And I know that's so hard because it is hard and it is lonely. The path is lonely. Sometimes it is. And I mean, I see you working out, and I see you pushing yourself, and I see you saying no to the parties, and I see you having to set boundaries with relationships, and I see you. But it doesn't matter if I see you or not. Do you see you? Do you see the work you're putting in? Do you see your path? Because me seeing you, or her seeing you, or him seeing you does not change your responsibility to walk that path. So I believe in you. I know that you can keep going. I know that you can get through this. I know that it's hard. I know that peer pressure comes up. I know that relationships are hard. I know that ending relationships is hard. I know that ending friendships is hard. I know that parenting is hard, but you do not owe anyone an explanation for the decisions and the steps that you are taking in your life. So as I conclude on this episode, I just want to remind you to stop talking and keep walking. Stop talking and keep walking. And I'm going to stop talking right now, and I'm going to get back to work because I got a lot of things coming up this year, and I am so excited, and I'm going to stay so laser focused on my path because my path is the only one that I can control. And when obstacles come up, guess what? I'm just going to look down. I'm going to look at that rock. I'm going to figure out what I need to do to move it, and then I'm going to keep going on my path because nothing is stopping me this year, and nothing should stop you this year. All right? We got this. Peace out, my favorite quitters. I'll see you next time.